In today's review, I will be taking a look at the Mobile Suit Gundam Arch Enemy Collector Series Wing Gundam Zero Custom. And just looking at it inside of the box, it looks very big, very huge, very tall. And what I'll be doing once I get it outside of its packaging, I'll be measuring the height so I can give you guys an idea of how tall it is and in comparison to, let's say, a 1 to 100 scale model kit. Now, this is my very first Arch Enemy action figure, and make no mistake, this is an action figure. And as you can see, the packaging is quite nice. You got a nice clear window to look at the figure itself. The top here, you got more plastic showing through, as well as a headshot of the actual mobile suit. Looking at the back, you have a description of the pilot, as well as a description of the mobile suit itself, and some action shots showing you what you should be able to achieve with this action figure. Now, in the lower right hand corner, you have a picture of the Arch Enemy Tall Gaze 3. Now, the idea behind the Arch Enemy line is what they do is they take the top hero mobile suit and the top villain mobile suit, and they feature them in this Arch Enemy line. Obviously here we got the Wing Gundam Zero Custom facing off against the Tall Gaze 3. They also have from another anime series, they have the RX-78 facing off against the Char's Gelgoog. And they have similar figures from the Seed line. So really nice concept, but most of all I just like the sheer size of these guys. So let's go ahead and get this guy out of its packaging and take a look at the figure itself. And here is the Wing Gundam Zero Custom outside of its packaging. I have to say, first impressions, it's a very nice action figure. It actually has a lot of detailing, and it just feels really nice. After having taken it out of the packaging and taking a look at it and played around with it, it actually does look like shaping up to be a pretty good action figure. So let's take a look at the detailing in the figure here. I can do a 360 rotation for you. This guy is rather back heavy, and once you start articulating the joints, they do get quite loose. But as you can see here, there's nice panel lining, not only in the leg but throughout the rest of the figure. Of course, it's most noticeable here in the actual leg itself. Doing a 360 here, we got look at the wings. Now the wings are worth noting because of the details. It's not just plain white, it actually has some shading detail. I don't know how well that's going to show up on camera, but there's shading detail as well as panel lining as well. And take a look at the back here. Okay, let's take a closer look here at the head as well as the rest of the mobile suit. As you can see, there's actual panel lining in the arms and even on the bottom of the feet, as you can see there. So really nice detailing. As far as articulation goes, well, of course the head is on a ball joint. You've got shoulder articulation. Shoulders can wiggle a little bit like that. The arms can go out like that. There is a swivel at the upper arm, a greater than 90-degree bend at the elbow, as you can see. Of course, the wrists are ball jointed. There is no waist articulation. Now, the side skirts, the back skirts, and the front skirts, they do move to a certain degree, which allows for leg articulation, which I'll get into right now. So as far as the leg articulation goes, legs can go forward just about that point there. Legs can go back a little bit because, as you can see, well, maybe you can't see, the back skirt does move a little bit to accommodate that movement to the back. And the side skirt comes up like that, so the leg can go up just about like that. Now the knee area actually is double jointed, and you can actually get a fairly nice bend out of it. So move the arm out of the way here and see how far we can get this leg to go. There we go. As you can see, pretty nice bend. And moving on, you actually have the articulation at the ankle armor, and the ankle itself is on a ball joint. So one of the nice features of this action figure is the fact that you have these two weapons pods here, and if you open up, they actually reveal the I guess it looks like a Gatling gun type of weapon. And it's really nice that they included that detail. They didn't have to. It adds a little bit of nice playability factor to the figure. Although the covers for the weapons pods here are rather flimsy, so if you articulate the head around, I find that they sometimes rip off, and the connection point is rather weak as well. But overall, the fact that they included the detail is very nice. Now I'd like to focus on the articulation of the wings themselves, which is quite impressive. Starting with these two back wings here, I'll show you the articulation of that. There's a joint here which allows the wing to go like this. You can also swivel this 360 degrees. And then there's a hinge. You can hinge up the wing like this, all the way up to that degree and back. And you have this section of the wing that comes out here, which is kind of cool. Just slides out. Now as for the side wings, the big wings themselves, you can see here the mechanism that goes up. You actually have swivel here, and this thing actually rotates around 360. Then you have a hinge right here, and then you have a ball joint there, so you have 360 degree rotation at that point. What I noticed about this figure, looking at it from the back, while you do see the screws here that show in the connecting pieces for the wings, there are no screws in the figure itself showing, which is sometimes kind of odd, because usually at times you'll have the screws on the back side of the figure, so on an action figure. So I'm glad to see that they don't have that here. Granted, granted there are screws here, but that's for the mechanism. I can forgive that. So due to the articulation of the wings, you can get the Wing Gundam Zero Custom into its protective mode. I don't know the technical term for it, but you can maneuver the wings in front of them like this. And I'm just going to do an approximation of what it's supposed to be, because this figure is kind of big and hard to wheel around, but I think that's basically what the figure is supposed to be able to do in its protective mode. And I think maybe if it's hovering in the air, it's supposed to be like that. So you can see the wings do lend the figure quite a bit of degree of articulation and allow it to pull off this pose here, which is very nice. In terms of accessories for this figure, you get 4 pairs of hands. You get the closed fist hands, you get the hands that can hold the beam handles for the beam sabers, and you also have 2 hands that can hold the Buster rifles. There's actually a difference between the two. In this case, I'm going to show you just both of the right hands. The other thing about the hands, before I forget, they actually have pegs, which corresponds to holes on the handle of the Buster rifles. But the difference in these 2 rifle holding hands is, you can see maybe that in my left, on your left here, the actual wrist area, I guess you'd say, is shaped differently from the one on the right, if that makes any sense. And I think it's maybe angled a little bit, so we have a different maybe angle of grip for the rifle. That's the only thing I can think of. But you get 2 of these, 1 for each hand. And then you get of course you get the beam sabers, and these are yellow. The actual beam is very flexible, and even the beam hilt or handle is actually really flexible as well. And as far as I know, these beams are not meant to separate from the beam handle. When I try to pull it out, it actually doesn't feel like it wants to be pulled out. And of course the main attraction, the Buster rifles. Very nice. You can see very nice molding detail. It looks like you even got some panel lining there. And very nice scopes with the green color there. Now these do combine, and actually they combine in a rather nice way. So starting with this one, you want to fold this panel down here and just kind of grab onto it any way you can. See, it's on like a hinge there, and it has 2 tabs there. Taking the other one here, you take the same panel, and it has, instead of pegs, it has holes. So what you want to do is just take them and combine them together. Line up the pegs with the holes, and voila, you have the BFG. That's right. So let's go ahead and see if we can get the BFG in the figure's hands. Let's see how well it holds it. And here, my friends, is what they call the money shot. Yes, he can hold the Twin Buster rifle in his hands. It takes some doing, And I probably can get it, if I had some more time, I could probably do it a little better, but here it is. It's not perfect, but it's possible. So very cool, the fact that you can do that. And in fact, it's the angle of those special wrists on the hands that hold the Buster Rifle that allow you to get the hands close enough together to actually hold the Buster Rifle, one handle in each hand. Let's see if I can raise it up a little bit. See if I can press my luck here. Oh, 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 oh. Oh. Nice. Look at that. So as promised, I did measure the Wing Gundam Zero Custom off camera, and it measures just a little over 7 inches tall. So as you can see here, it's standing next to two 1:100 scale model kits. It's a little bit shorter, but it's not that bad actually. And I think this action figure has a nice shelf presence, which means it would look very nice on a shelf, and I really do like it a lot. So final thoughts on this figure. I have to say I would recommend it. I just love the scale of this figure. Yes, it's not quite as tall as a 1:100 scale, but it's close. It's pretty damn close. And for me, a casual fan of the Wing Gundam Zero Custom, it looks just fine with me. I know some master grade purists might say, well, the legs are too bulky or whatnot. But for me, who's just a casual fan of this mobile suit, not a die-hard fan, I'm just fine with this action figure. Now, the cost on these are actually pretty reasonable when you compare them to like a mobile suit in action or a robot Damashi. These figures, when they first came out back in 2004, I believe it was, they retail for around $24. I had to get this one on eBay. I got it, and I was lucky to get it for around $35, which sounds kind of high, but when you consider the fact that the Robot Spirits and the Mobile Suit in Actions, which are not even half this height, cost the same, I really have to say this guy is amazing. Again, the details and the feathers, the panel lining, the articulation at the knees, the very nice implementation and execution for the Buster Rifles combining into the twin Buster Rifles, and the fact that you can get the twin Buster Rifles to hold in this figure is actually pretty darn cool. So I say thumbs up. If you can find it, buy it. You're going to have to probably get it on eBay. And I actually waited for a while because the ones on eBay, there was like a buy it now for like $59. They're crazy prices, but if you get an auction and you win the auction like I did, then you'll be able to get it for around maybe $3 hopefully. Well, thank you so much for watching. This has been my review of the Mobile Suit Gundam Arch Enemy Collector Series, Wing Gundam Zero Custom.